I love these members that get up and say, read the bill. What good is reading the bill if it's 1,000 pages and you don't have 2 days and 2 lawyers to find out what it means after you read the bill?
Yeah, this one's only 17 pages.
On April 23, 2010, Governor Jan Brewer signed Senate Bill 1070 into law. SB 1070 was enacted as Laws 2010, Chapter 113. House Bill 2162 made additional changes to Laws 2010, Chapter 113. And now, as a public service for the benefit of those who criticize the law without reading it, a full dictation of the law by the Glenn Beck Program.
Here we go. It's Arizona law. We're up to, Section 430, line 35. A, in addition to any violation of federal law, a person is guilty of willful failure to complete or carry an alien registration document if the person is in violation of 8 United States Code Section 1304E or 1306A. B, in the enforcement of this section, an alien immigration status may be determined by 1, a law enforcement officer who is authorized by the federal government to verify or ascertain an alien's immigration status. 2, the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement for the United States Customs and Border Protection pursuant to 8 United States Code Section 1373C.
C, a law enforcement official or agency of this state or county, city, state, or town, or other political subdivision of the state may not consider race, color, or national origin in the enforcement of this section, except to the extent permitted by the United States or Arizona Constitution. A person who is sentenced pursuant to this section is not eligible for suspension of sentence, probation, pardon, commutation of sentence, or release from confinement on any basis except as authorized by Section 31-233, subsection A or B, until the sentence imposed by the court has been served or the person is eligible for release pursuant to the section.
In addition to any other penalty prescribed by the law, the court shall order the person to pay jail costs. This section does not apply to a person who maintains authorization from the federal government to remain in the United States. Or any record that relates to the immigration status of a person is admissible in any court without further foundation or testimony from a custodian of records if the record is certified as authentic by the government agency that is responsible for maintaining the record.
So in other words, if you had a birth certificate, but what happened if you couldn't get the original birth certificate?
That's helpful. A violation of this section is a Class 1 misdemeanor, except that the maximum fine is $100 for a first violation of this section, and the court should not sentence the person to more than 20 days in jail.
What happens if your birth certificate was in Hawaii and they passed a law saying you can't ask for your birth certificate
That's
anymore?
a problem. Yeah, it's a problem. It's racist, Bill.
For a second or subsequent violation, the court shall not sentence the person to more than 30 days in jail.
Section 4. It is unlawful for a person to intentionally engage in the smuggling of human beings for profit or commercial purposes.
If
What
it's a
for
non-profit.
sexual purposes for yourself, is that okay?
If you do it for charity, it's fine.
Okay. B, a violation of this section is a Class 4 felony. C, notwithstanding subsection B of this section, a violation of this section 1 is a Class 2 felony if the human being who is smuggled is under 18 years of age and is not accompanied by a family member over 18 years of age, or the offense involved the use of a deadly weapon or
This is
dangerous...
a PG-13 smuggling.
Human smuggling.
Wow.
There are
Controversial.
shades of human smuggling.
Amazing.
Is the third? It is a third. It is a Class 3 felony if the offense involves a use or threatened use of deadly physical force, and if the person is not eligible for suspension of sentence, probation, pardon, or release from confinement on any other basis except pursuant to section blah, 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 until the sentence is imposed by the court is served, the person is eligible for release pursuant to blah, 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 the sentence is commuted. Chapter 10 of this title does not apply to a violation of subsection C, paragraph 1 in this section.
Notwithstanding any other law, in the enforcement of this section, a peace officer may lawfully stop any person who is operating a motor vehicle if the officer has reasonable suspicion to believe the person is in violation of any civil traffic law for the purposes of this section. 1, family member means the person's parent, grandparent, sibling, or any other person who is related to the person by consanguinity or affinity to the second degree. Number 2, procurement of transportation means any participation in or facilitation of transportation and includes providing services that facilitate transportation, including travel arrangement services or money transmission services, providing property that facilitates transportation, including a weapon, a vehicle, or other means of transportation of false identification, or selling, leasing, renting, or otherwise making available a drop house. Smuggling of human beings means the transportation, procurement of transportation, or use of property or real property by a person or an entity that knows or has reason to know that the person or persons transported or to be transported are not United States citizens, permanent resident aliens, or persons otherwise lawfully in this state or have attempted to enter, entered, or remained in the United States in violation of law.
Can I tell you something? This is the problem with this country. This is the problem with this country. You read this bill, and this is the problem. You have to define human smuggling.
Yeah.
And make sure you have to define it not once, but so far twice.
You have to define parents.
Family
members. Family members.
I mean, that is the problem.
Ridiculous.
That's the problem.
It is. Section 5. It is unlawful for an occupant of a motor vehicle that is stopped on the street, roadway, or highway to attempt to hire or hire and pick up passengers for work at a different location if the motor vehicle blocks or impedes the normal movement of traffic. It is unlawful for a person to enter a motor vehicle that is stopped on the street, roadway, or highway in order to be hired by an occupant of the motor vehicle and to be transported to work at a different location if the motor vehicle blocks or impedes the normal movement of traffic. It is unlawful for a person who is unlawfully present in the United States, who is an unauthorized alien, to knowingly apply for work, solicit work in a public place, or perform work as an employee or independent contractor in this state.
But again, no police officer may not consider race, color, or national origin in the enforcement of this section. More in a second.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
On April 23, 2010, Governor Jan Brewer signed Senate Bill 1070 into law. SB 1070 was enacted as Laws 2010, Chapter 113. House Bill 2162 made additional changes to Laws 2010, Chapter 113. And now, as a public service for the benefit of those who criticize the law without reading it, a full dictation of the law by the Glenn Beck Program.
Yeah, it seems like there's just so many people that haven't read the law in Washington that, they should read it before they say that it's racist and apologize in China. On how racist we are, and talk about the disturbing trend in America, because it seems like the disturbing trend is people that want to follow the Constitution and United States law so far. But here we go back. We're on line. I'm going to start at line 21. United States, let's see. Anyone who is an unauthorized alien, it is illegal in the United States to apply for work, solicit work in a public place, or perform work as an employee or independent contractor in this state. Anyone or any enforcement official or agency in the state or county may not consider race, color, or national origin in the enforcement of this section, except to the extent permitted by the United States or Arizona Constitution. In the enforcement of this section, an alien's immigration status may be determined by a law enforcement officer who is authorized by the federal government to verify or ascertain an alien's immigration status. United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, including or the United States Customs or Border Protection pursuant to 8 United States Code section. F. A violation of this section is a Class 1 misdemeanor. Misdemeanor. G. For the purposes of this section, 1. Solicit means verbal or nonverbal communication by a gesture or a nod that would indicate to a reasonable person that a person is willing to be employed. 2. An unauthorized alien means an alien who does not have the legal right or authorization under federal law to work in the United States as described in 8 United States Code section 1324 AH 3.
Now, do you feel like we're getting to the dry section where this needs to be spiced up a little bit?
Maybe a little. Is there something we can do?
Maybe play some music from a simpler time, a happier
better
time?
A
better time?
better time?
I do have a better time.
What is a better time?
Wasn't this a better time? 1975-ish.
Oh, 1975. It was the 4 years where our president was just falling down the stairs.
Yes.
We had gone off the gold standard.
Vietnam had just fallen after
Watergate.
we left. We felt like crap as
Man.
a country. Oh.
Good old days.
Those days don't come back.
Good times.
Good times.
Good times.
It is unlawful for a person who is in violation of criminal offense to transport or move, or attempt to transport or move an alien in the state in furtherance for the legal presence of the alien in the United States in a means of transportation, or the person knows or recklessly disregards the fact that the alien has come to, has entered, or remains in the United States in violation of law. 2. Conceal, harbor, or shield, an attempt to conceal, harbor, or shield an alien from detection in any place in the state, including any building or any means of transportation, if the person knows or recklessly disregards the fact that the alien has come to or has entered or remains in the United States as a violation in federal law.